Don't you think this is starting to wear on me? You've been raining down like hail. I'm weak. I have tried to give you my soul, but you can't love something you own. It's too late to repair what we made. What can I do? Time flashed by and I woke up on the other side of the moon.
G'day everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Anna and this is You Got Me in Stitches. I hope you have had a really good week, whatever you have been up to, and sewing, crafting, baking, cooking, whatever it is. I hope you have found some really good enjoyment. This week I am coming in at you with my second collaboration. That's right, I have collaborated with the beautiful Megan from Megan Handmade, and she has a wonderful channel, and you will find her link below in the description box if you would like to go over and check out her channel. This idea came about whizzing around in my mind, and Megan and I personally messaged each other anyway, and then we kind of got on to collaboration, and I thought it would be a really good idea if we picked a few patterns from our pattern collection and then photographed them and send them in a message. Then I came up with the idea and thought, actually, if we pick say 5 or 6 patterns and cover them up and then lay them out, photograph the hidden patterns, and then obviously in number order, just say 1 through to 6, to choose which of the hidden pattern, just so you guys know kind of visually what that looks like. Teenage Earthling, if you'd like to put a still in here please. So from that photograph that you saw there, that is Megan's hidden patterns, and she had wrapped each of them up with fabric, and I chose the one with the little paws on, and I still do not know what that pattern is until obviously I go and watch her video like you guys will. Unfortunately, I cannot show you guys my still. For some strange reason it didn't stay in the message, so when you click on it, it just doesn't reappear. I don't know what is wrong kind of with that feature, because sometimes when you send photographs they're there forever and you can go back and touch it and it comes up. Yeah, well, I was clearing out some of my photos in the album there. Obviously I deleted it. I deleted it because I thought it was going to stay live in the message bank, but unfortunately it didn't. So it was just Megan's, but you get the general idea. Then next up, what we also did is chose some fabrics and then laid them out, and then each other would then choose which fabric we thought would go with the hidden pattern. Now that is a bit of a thought process there, because you have absolutely no idea what each other's pattern is, so you don't know if the fabric that you have chosen would actually work with the pattern. And this is what I thought what was so exciting about it. So now Megan, for you, this is the pattern, and for everybody who's watching, this is the pattern under the hidden fabric is what you chose. So it's the Tilly in the buttons. And this pattern I actually got from the lovely Timlin from Sewn on the Tyne, and I'll also link her channel below. One thing about this pattern is when I took everything out, Timlin had actually traced off her pattern and she had made notes and everything like that, and I absolutely adore things like that, especially as you guys know that I go thrifting and I get a lot of vintage patterns, and it just adds to the history. Now of course this is very recent history, probably in the matter of like weeks, months. Anyway, years and years and years and years ahead in the future, I'll look back on this pattern and I will obviously have all the original pieces as well as all the traced out pieces that Timlin had left in here, and all her little notes and everything like that. and I just think that adds to all the pattern and kind of the history that goes with it. Righto, so the measurements that I kind of in between. So your bust measurements, I was kind of in between a 3 and a 4. The waist, I was kind of in between a 2 and a 3. And the hip was kind of around the 3 mark. So if I just show you there. For you guys that are familiar with this pattern, it was a relatively easy pattern to sew together, and I really had fun constructing this and sewing this garment together. For my version, what I did, you have long sleeves or no sleeves, and you have the option of either a collar or collarless. So I had decided to put a collar on mine, but omitted the sleeves. So my version is sleeveless. Well, obviously, if I omitted them, then it became sleeveless. The fabric that I used is gingham fabric, 100% cotton, and it was a fabric that I thrifted. And originally, it was a pair of drapes. You guys who watch me often have already seen that fabric. Now, you'll be able to see it made up. I wanted to make a wearable mock-up, and to be fair, the mock-up it's come out really well, so it's almost like making 2 garments and perhaps not call this a mock-up. What I will do is put the garment on the mannequin, flip the camera around and show you what I did. So starting up at the collar, and I used a contrast 100% light blue cotton fabric there, and coming around to the sides there. I had some bias binding, so all around the arm side I have used kind of another gingham binding there. Then coming down, there are 2 darts, so one around the bust area and the other follows all the way down there. I decided I wanted to put the detailing on the front there, and these buttons I covered myself. They were just actually regular buttons, really quite not very pretty buttons, and so I cut a little round piece of fabric out and then ran a hand stitched running stitch all the way around, and then pulled the threads, placed the button inside, and then stitch along the back there to make it all secure, and then put it on the tab there. So moving down the dress, I also added at the lengthen and shorten lines 2 inches because I am tall. It's coming down to the hem here. I have kept the hem that was on the original pair of drapes, so therefore I did not need to hem it. There is just 2 places where it does need some bias binding, and that is purely because the shape of the hem ever so slightly kicks out in an A line. I have just turned the going around, so this is the back view, and yeah, there's my arch nemesis zipper. Now I cannot believe it, I have installed a regular zipper, and down here I cannot believe it, this was actually the first time that I actually installed a zipper without the fabric there bunching, and it would have been 100% really good constructed zipper if for the top, unfortunately one side is just a couple mil difference. I have now flipped the dress inside out so you guys can see the bare bones. It's a regular white zipper there, and I serged the right edges throughout, and This is just the part here where I just need to add a little bit of bias binding, but apart from that, doesn't need to be hemmed. And there we have the front view. Now you can see those darts a little bit more clearer, and yes, I know I should have used white thread, but originally I didn't know that this mock-up was going to come out relatively good. And you can see the bias binding all around the arm side there. And now to reveal the one in the fabric that Megan chose. So again, starting off with the colour, I chose the red contrast. It is the main fabric. So Megan chose this one. It is a vintage fabric, and again 100% cotton. And it's a semi-structure, so mid-weight cotton. And I think because Tilly's style has that vintage feeling, I thought a great fabric to choose, which goes really well with the vintage look. So vintage pretty much all in all there. I opted for these buttons here. Again, vintage buttons in the contrast tab. And pretty much exactly the same as the gingham one, but obviously I spent a lot more time on this with accuracy and things like that. And on the hem here I used grey cotton bias binding all the way around, and I used the machine stitch, so regular stitch length there. And guys, are you ready for this? Look at my zipper. You follow the zipper all the way down. Again, white zipper, just a regular one. I didn't want to use a hidden zipper, purely because based on kind of the vintage look. And there we go, there's the bottom. Now why can't I iron star zippers like that all the time? Also, the pattern has two back darts. So starting from here, it follows all the way down there. Both sides there, as you can see. Just showing you the collar here. I think the points are okay. They could just be a little bit more piney. And then goes around to the back there. And I think this contrast fabric, I'm not entirely sure, I believe it is a bit of a mix fabric. I think there's a tiny bit of polyester in there. And again, for the arm side, I opted for the grey bias binding there. I have flipped it inside out so you can see the insides of this one as well, and serged these raw edges here. Also, what I have added under here is a couple of little stitches just to make sure that that facing stays down, and it is run in a way that on the front, because the collar goes down a certain length, you cannot see the stitches, because obviously these stitches under here would permeate through the fabric. So hidden stitches, yeah, not too bad. So just follow this around, and again there I stitched in the ditch, serged the shoulder seams there, and you can see the arm side. Anyone that is familiar with this pattern is familiar with all the features on there. I opted just to use store-bought bias binding. And again there, that's the back shoulder seam, kind of that raglan look a little bit. And then the zipper here, a little bit untidy inside there, but it's okay. So there's the zipper all the way down, and then it meets the raw edges which have been serged, and then following that down to the hem. So all the way around. I'll just show you one of the back darts because they're identical on both sides. So they're quite long, but it gives that extra shaping around the waist area. So there are my dresses all revealed. Just to show you what I meant by the hidden stitches to hold down the facing. Now thinking about it, I perhaps would not have opted for the facings because I do find them a little bit of annoying, and perhaps I should have just gone for bias binding. So there you can see the stitches. So on the inside that is held down, so there's no way that it would flip up. You can only go a certain amount around before obviously it would show on the front, which is not what I wanted to have happen. And so if you put that collar down, that's how the stitches become hidden. So bear in mind that doesn't meet in the middle. So if you had carried on those stitches there, you would have seen those stitches in the front, but they don't. So they are only under there, and even that, they're a little bit hard to see. You can just about see there. So put the collar down and then it is hidden. I will add the steels and you guys can see that at the end. And I'm really happy that I have made this garment. It kind of has been on my radar on and off for a little while, and I kind of like that little vintage look, and with that fabric actually being vintage fabric, I think that has worked really well with the style that Tilly has opted to design there. I would like to take this opportunity to thank very much Megan, and I've had so much fun with you. Thank you so much. It's very, very kind of you to wish to collaborate with me, and I did feel a bit shy in asking, and I just think it's an absolute wonderful way to actually come together. Although oceans divide us, it's just the way to form a friendship and a bond through something that we both like doing with the sewing and craft and things like that. And it's just something that we've had really wonderful enjoyment in doing and choosing, so it just always has that personal touch. Every time I look at my garment, I may even end up calling it my Megan dress, because I tend to do that. If somebody has had a bit of an influence on me, again, I'd like to usually name that person in my garments, so that will be, I think, my Megan dresses. So thank you so much, Megan. I think it's been awesome. Righto guys, that is it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed watching and see what our collaborations kind of reveal was, and I'm excited to see what Megan's is. By the time this video goes out, both my videos will be out on Sunday, and I may have already seen, but right now I haven't. I did not want to spoil the surprise. It is actually currently Friday, April 17th, and yeah, I don't usually film kind of this much in advance, but I wanted to. So I have been doing some other sewing. Believe it or not, I have got a headache from Itchy and Two Sticks, and I've had that 2 days now, so what can you do? Now, if you guys have sewn this pattern, how did you get on with it? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? What tweaks or changes did you make to it? Again, the only thing that I did was just lengthen it because obviously being tall. Yeah, really fun pattern, and I'm really glad that it's now been sewn. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I will see you on Tuesday for Tip Time Tuesday. Have a really good week, and please stay safe and happy sewing. Thank you.